Hi, mates. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. I want to do a quick shout out again, really to everybody. It's been a great run here lately this summer, man. Meeting so many new people, but I got to tell you, I know a lot of times so many people ask me like, why do you do what you do? What do you do? Why are you doing the content you're doing? Why are you talking about what you're talking about? All that good stuff. Let me tell you why. So evidently, I posted a video on the YouTube channel that was regarding, of course, it happened to be a KFL video that I did on the YouTube channel. Apologies. And it was talking about mindset, and it was talking about mental health, and it was talking about people losing control of of their demeanor and all of that out on the water and those altercations and all that. Well, evidently that video was shared by one of my channel followers on YouTube to a friend of theirs who's in the military, or I'm sorry, just got out of the military, and he shared it with another individual who's a veteran who's been out of the military for about 4 years. And so evidently the video really resonated with those guys. So they had contacted me. I'd gotten messages back and forth. You know how that goes. And finally, I just decided, you know what? On Thursday night, I decided I was not going to fish. I had the time. I already set the day aside. I had one thing I had to do. So I decided not to fish in the Southwest Virginia Yackers tournament. And I decided not. There was two tournaments, and I decided not to fish in the NV KBA evening title or one night stand, I think it was called, Potomac, because these guys were available to fish, and I was like, these guys have never fished tournaments before. These guys have never even fished the Potomac before, so. It was just really, really an experience when, you put out a video and you don't really know how it's going to be received, and then it just trickles to people and touches people where it needs to get touched. So today, I kind of hit two birds with one stone. I was able to go out of Marshall Hall, I think it's Charles County, off 227 in Maryland 227, into the Potomac, and go fishing, with these two veterans. And both of these veterans, obviously, the reason why the video was sent to them was because of PTSD issues that they've experienced post, deployments. I think one said he was deployed 6 times, the other one was deployed 8 times. So you think about that. That's a lot. I mean, we don't think about that a lot. When we're fishing and we're like living our day-to-day lives. I'm gonna tell you what, when you talk to people, I mean, I'm a veteran. I served in the Marine Corps. I know plenty of veterans, but that was freaking ages ago. The way I look at it, it's the way I feel about. I mean, I was laughing and joking with the guys because it's like, you guys probably look at me the way I looked at Vietnam or Korea vets. It's just when I enlisted, it was just forever before me, right? When I was 18, 19, 20 years old, late 80s, early 90s, when you think about people who served in Vietnam or Korea, it's 15, 20, 25, 30 years, right? Well, that's how I feel got the salt and pepper. These guys, so they were 31 and 35, okay? So they're considerably younger than me. I'll be the big 52 in 2 weeks. And it was just different. The military's different. The culture's different. The mission's the same, but the military's different. The culture's different. You've all heard all the news. But man, deployment after deployment after deployment, the last 10 years, 15 years for our military, whether it be the Army or the Corps, man, I mean, you don't really think about it because, we were just told to go shop, after 9/11, right? We were just, stay with your lives, get on with your lives. And we don't think about all the sacrifices that people have made. And then when they come home, we don't really think about taking care of them. We figure that's somebody else's responsibility. It's the government's responsibility. It's the VA's responsibility. It's somebody else's responsibility. No, it's all of our responsibility. It really is. And it doesn't matter how small or how little, whatever you can do in your own community to ensure that these guys transition back with clear mental health, get help that they need, have access to those services, have access to employment, have access to employment centers, job training, retraining, all of that stuff. You know, it's just something we all, have to like think about. And I know it opened my eyes today. That's why I'm making the video. Just to encourage people, For me, it's just fishing. But I could tell for these guys, it wasn't just fishing. Like it was being able to talk to someone, being able to it's not a friend of theirs. It's not their employer. It's not someone that's, you know what I mean? A lot of times that's what people need is a third person who they're not really connected with, and they feel free to open up and talk to about everything that's going on in their lives and how they can have the right mentality, And, I basically just spent most of it today, and it sounds like so simple, right? Like you got to find a hobby. You got to find your escape. For me, the joy of fishing is the joy of fishing. No one's going to rob that from me. Nobody. Not tournament angling, not tournament anglers, not people who have hater mentality, not people who have clown show mentality, who basically are twisted. Like they won't ever ruin the joy of fishing that I have because fishing is an escape. It's always been an escape. Okay? And we all have communities, but there are some of us, and sometimes when, the community is great, but there are times when you want to just hit the river, on your own or with one person and just get away from it. Get away from the work, get away from, everything, stress, anxiety, whatever. Because you need that cleansing. And when you lose that, and I know, and I've talked to plenty of anglers this year that want to get reconnected back to that. These are people that have been running all over the country, okay, and competing. And I've watched a couple videos and just been like, man, like you have a totally different perspective. And I was like, I do. Don't get twisted. It's hard because you got a dream and then you got to get to that dream. I did a couple video on finances and how it's just getting to be like golf, It's getting to be a rich man's game, right? If you want to make it in the bigs for fishing, and it could tear people up mentally and just wear them all down, stress on families, children, all of that stuff. I know people have lost jobs because they've just put the dream ahead of reality, right? In terms of requesting too much, demanding too much time off, taking too much time off, whatever. Employers in the current thing, they need dependable people, right? And so it was just really great. I had that opportunity to do that. I thought it was really awesome, and it was no sacrifice to me. There's always a tournament the next weekend. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, mates. There's always a tournament somewhere. I mean, so you got to be able to make those decisions where you gauge priorities in terms of your outlook and and how you approach things, and that's what I try to do. To get people hooked on the joy of fishing, not to become if these guys ever decided to like enter a local event, God bless them, right? But that's not what it's about. It was about connecting them to the water, getting away from all of it, talking, laughing, talking sports, talking just military, talking everything, talking guns, of course, guns, talking craft beer, like, you know what I mean? And, talking like my channel, like people asking me questions about my channel and all that kind of stuff. So, and then to be able to come right off Marshall Hall, head right down 227, head right down 210, catch up with the Legion of Anglers, drop off, drop off custom baits, and prizes and giveaways for their event that they had on Matawan today. I'm not gonna get this right, at Ribs to Go off of 210. Grabbing that, hitting that, staying there, grabbing a bite around town, sliding down to Dale's Smokehouse, grabbing some barbecue, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what you got to do. If you're in the community, support the community. If you're fishing in a community, if you're gonna drive all the way 5 counties over hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. Drop some money. Drop some money at the restaurant or local business. That's what I'm about. But it was just really, really great. And so this is what keeps me pumped is not the haters, not the people who are upset because, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, in that regard, 85% of the content in that regard for those folks has been positive for their organization. I don't really know why they get twisted by it. It's just like observations. Do your work, make it better, solve the issues. That's kind of it. I mean, make it about the anglers, but it was just really cool to be able, to fish a section really that I always pass, but I don't really fish it hardly ever because I always go down to like Pamunkey and I always like fish back in there on the grass and the mats and all that stuff back there, fish for snakeheads back there, bass, big and bass live back there, by the way, not giving any juice, but expect that when Potomac is, when those guys are going out of Smallwood and those guys are fishing the Potomac events, I'm talking about the big boys, you're always going to find some boys going back in the back, okay? I'm just saying. I want to check it out. And so all in all, great day. Got to accomplish two things. That's always great on a Saturday. Anytime you get to fish, it's great. Anytime you get to help out and sponsor a local trail like Battle of the Frogs today, Legion of Anglers on Fishing Chaos. You got to be totally stoked about that. I really, really think what they offer their community, and it was a Heroes on the Water event. So I think it was a total benefit for Heroes on the Water, which kind of, fills this whole day out, right? In terms of what it was all about, getting veterans on the water, supporting Heroes on the Water, supporting a local trail, Legion of Anglers for giveaways and stuff, promote the custom baits, and those things, and and make it be a fulfilling day. It's not always about the fish. That's what I tell people. Sometimes it's not always about the fish. It is if you're tournament angling and you make it about that and you get twisted. But when you're catching it, out there. Now these guys too, I was like, man, you got to come on the small rivers with me. Okay, we got to go fishing for some smallies. Okay, chasing these little big green fish is all kind of fun and all, but sometimes you got to hit the shallow water and the rocky water and the narrow rivers. For some smallies because that's where the real action at. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm biased, I know, but that's my jam. So anybody I can get into the Upper Potomac or the Shenandoah, or Susquehanna and all that stuff for smallies, I'm gonna hook them up. And you get hooked on that, you're hooked for life. That's just the way that is. So all right, big shout out. Thank you to everybody in my group. Thank you for the number of all the subs and all the follows and the shares. It's crazy how many views this last week that the channel and everything has gotten in the last week. So we're going to push forward. We got Hobie results this weekend coming. We've got an MVKBA event coming. We've got the Legion of Angler tournament. The results for that coming. That was a snakehead and bass tournament. So we got all that coming, and here in the next 24 to 48 hours for the channel. So make sure you check it out for that local trail news. I know we got some Virginia anglers in Hobie out in Wisconsin fishing that 2-day event on the Fox and Wolf. So keep an eye on them. I do not believe I don't even think there's a single Maryland angler in that event. So I know there's some PA guys. But there's no Maryland guys that I'm aware of this year. But we got a couple, 2 or 3, maybe 4, Virginia anglers, that I got messaged about to make sure that I got some coverage done, for those guys that were going all the way to Wisconsin. And, that's what it's about. So JL Scott Fishing and Eats. You can check that out on, YouTube and on TikTok. And, I'll see you guys on the other side.